away. Liquid galaxy, we see it all. Technological marvel standing tall. Liquid galaxy, together we thrive. In the heart of the tech beehive. The world where we glide, from the peaks to the seas, exploring with ease. Mapping the future's bright, our bond ignites the night. Collaborate, innovate, together we elevate. Liquid galaxy, we see it all. Technological marvel standing tall. Liquid galaxy, together we thrive. Liquid galaxy, we see an old technological marvel standing tall. Liquid galaxy, together we thrive in the heart of the tech beehive. Liquid galaxy, we see it all. Technological marvel standing tall. Liquid galaxy, together we thrive in the heart of the tech beehive. Tech beehive. In the heart of the tech beehive. In the heart of the tech beehive.
Hello, Alfredo.
Hello, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Deep night for you too in Holland or how?
Yeah, Netherlands.
Netherlands is the name of the country. Netherlands. That's great. So, thank you, Alfredo, for coming back to make some training to our contributors at the Liquid Galaxy Project community. We are live in YouTube and also we are live in Discord, where Abby, Deb Mosan, Rexy, Deepen, Echevarri, Aditya, Suez, Vedant, Shailesh, Neo, all of those guys are now live in Discord, and then some other people will join from in the YouTube. So, community, Alfredo's here to train you on a very important thing for us because he's a Google developer expert in Dart and Flutter. And as you remember, most of the projects we do at the Liquid Galaxy project during the year and also for Google Summer of Code are based on Dart, Flutter. So what best training is from our beloved Alfredo, training to you how to build Flutter applications with Gemini API.
Yeah.
So thank you,
Should
Alfredo.
I start?
And the stage is yours.
Perfect.
You can go.
Thank you so much. Again, we're going to talk about Flutter with Gemini because I think it's a great combination. Also, as Andrew mentioned, if you are going to be part of the next Google Summer of Code and in the Liquid Galaxy, maybe you can use this in the project. So, I want to introduce myself very quickly. My name is Alfredo Bautista. I am from Spain, but I'm living in the Netherlands because I work here. So I moved here. So I am the Flutter developer at Salto. That is like a Dutch Salto CloudWorks, a Dutch company. We're making software for smart locks. And all our products are built with Flutter. So it is a very nice company to be. I'm really enjoying working with my colleagues in Flutter. And also I am Google developer expert in Flutter and Dart. That's why I share a lot with the community to give back all the opportunities that Google provide us. And Google support us to give all of these talks, workshop in person, online. So I'm very proud to be part of the Google Developer Expert program. And same as Andreu, also in our free time, we organize some communities. In my case, it's Google Developer Group Marbella in the south of Spain, and also the FlutterConf. This is the Spanish big conference of Flutter that we made every year. We made the 2025 and we are going to do the 2026 edition. So if you want to visit Spain and if you want to learn more about Flutter, let me know. So yeah, today I'm going to do a quick introduction in Flutter that probably most of you already know Flutter, but I want to give a quick overview of Flutter. After that, we're going to see what is Gemini, because maybe some people doesn't know about Gemini yet. We're going to integrate Gemini in our Flutter app very easily in a few slides, and then we will have some time for the QA. So if you have any question, let me know. So I usually ask in person who knows Flutter. So put in the chat if you already knows Flutter. But yeah, basically Flutter is a UI framework very heavily supported by Google to produce mobile, web, and desktop apps from a single code base. So every app that you can see here in this screen is built with Flutter. So with only one single code base, you can build your app in mobile. That means Android, iOS, web, in most of the browser like Firefox, Chrome, Safari, and also desktop. That means macOS, Linux, and Windows, all again from a single code base. So this is very nice. And Flutter share these 4 pillars for the leitmotif of the of Flutter. That is beautiful because Flutter has their own render engine, so you can draw any pixel, so you can build and you can use whatever form or whatever widget that you want to use in your app. This is possible. If your designer create a very impossible screen, you can implement in Flutter. You can use the pre-made widget, but also you can create in the canvas whatever you want. So this is very nice because you can create very nice UIs. Also, it's fast. Why is fast? Compared to other cross-platform frameworks, Flutter is going to compile to production to native code in every platform that the apps runs. That means iOS, Android, web, Linux, macOS, and Windows. The Dart programming language is going to compile to native code to every platform. So the performance of the app is very, very nice, very, very good. And also, if you compare with a very native app, it's more or less the same performance. It is very similar. Also, it is productive, and this is one of the things that I love most of Flutter is Flutter has a few tools that help you in your development day. So, for example, we have hot reload and hot restart that we are going to show later that allow us to work efficiently in our apps. So it is very important for a developer that if you have to spend too much time working with a tool, you have to have the best tool possible. And also, it's open because this framework is open source. So the Flutter has a project in GitHub where you can see all the code base of the project, of the framework, and also you can contribute to the framework. So there is like a lot of maintainers outside of Google that they contribute to the framework. So if you found any issue, you can create an issue in GitHub, and even you can fix the issue yourself in the framework because this is open source. So this is very nice because it's supported by Google. They put a lot of effort in Flutter, but also it's part of the community, and it is very nice because we can contribute ourselves to the framework. So as I mentioned, for me, it's very, very nice that we have the hot reload and hot restart tools. You can see in this widget where the programmer, the developer, is changing the behavior of the app and also the UI, and the change has moved directly to the compile app without the need to restart the app. So every time that you change something, you can see in real time, honestly, the change in the app. So this is very nice because you don't have to compile again the app when you want to change something in the UI or when you want to change something in the behavior or in the code of the app. So this is very nice also for large projects. Imagine that you have an onboarding with a lot of steps and you're changing the last screen of the onboarding. So you don't have to compile and go for every screen again. Every time that you want to change, you can see on real time what is the result of your code. And also, as I mentioned, it's open source. So this is very nice if you are learning Flutter to go to the repo and see a little bit how the framework is built from inside. What is the dark code that the framework is using to build all the applications. So don't worry, as I mentioned, you are going to compile to every platform possible, but you don't have to know or you don't have to learn how to code in every platform, because your code is going to be on the upper layer. So you are going to interact with the Flutter framework directly in Dart, with the widgets pre-built, with your business logic in Dart, and with some package that you can use it, but you don't have to learn how to code in different platforms. The framework itself is going to isolate this logic in every platform to be able to compile to every platform. So for example, behind the framework, you will have the engine and also the runner that is going to compile this code to be able to run in different platforms. And to be able to do this and to be able to work in Flutter, we need to learn Dart. And I'm going to show you why Dart is a very nice programming language, because Flutter is the framework, Dart is the language, programming language. So Dart, born in 2011, I think, something like that. And it was made for a high-level programming language. So it was made for UI. It was made to use in a, not mobile app, but in a front-end apps, I will say. So this is very nice to see because it's very verbose and you can see very clear what is the syntaxis of the framework. So it is very nice and very easy to read, and it's very easy to compose UI using Dart. Also, as I mentioned, this productive development, all the tools of hot reload and hot restart comes by the language, by Dart, by the SDK of the Dart. And also, as I mentioned, it's going to perform very well in every platform. You can build, like, for example, CLI on Dart, and you can deploy in a Linux machine, and you can use it directly because it's going to compile directly to the native code. So you can use Flutter and Dart without installing any SDK. So you can go directly to the dartpad.dev and you can try it. You can code your whole Flutter app directly in the Dartpad. I don't recommend you to do this, but if you want to play a little bit, if you want to learn a little bit of Dart and Flutter and you don't want to install in your machine, you can go to dartpad.dev, that is a Flutter app, and you can try this language and also this framework. So as I mentioned, with Flutter, you can use and you can create mobile apps, you can create web apps, you can create desktop apps, but also you can create embedded apps. For example, in my company, we have some embedded in hardware, and we run some Flutter apps on them. And this is very nice because it works very well. So as you can see, with only one framework, you can create any app possible. So a lot of people ask me, hey, okay, but Flutter is going to be stable, not stable, I will say. It's going to be like maintained in the future. There are some companies using Flutter, so they create a land page to show not all the, but most of the companies that they are using Flutter for a real product. So you can go to flutter.dev/showcase and you can see production apps using Flutter. For example, Google Wallet, they are using Flutter. Notebook LM, the application for Android and iOS, they are using Flutter. And if you are curious, you can see in this web page where there is more Flutter products. And also in the same Flutter dev, in this case docs.flutterdev, we have code labs. So if you are learning Flutter, I recommend you to visit there because you can see a lot of information. The documentation of Flutter is very, very good. And you can follow these code labs and you can learn how to build your first Flutter app. This is very nice. I explained a lot about the Flutter, but in the day-to-day as a Flutter developer, what is the experience? I will say that the most important things when you are a Flutter developer is to understand the language. I would say that Dart is an object-oriented language. So if you want to code in Flutter, you have to learn a little bit of programming objects. So yeah, you have to know the fundamentals. Also, it's a typed language that is very important for a large project. This is very nice. It's cross-platform. As I mentioned, only with Dart, you can create also CLI apps or backend apps. If you come from JavaScript or Java, the syntax is very similar, so you will learn very quickly how to do it. And it's very important, and we will see in the implementation with Gemini, the synchronous API, it is very nice. So without installing any external dependencies, you can work with this asynchronous experience directly in your Flutter app without any external package. So this is very important for the modern apps. And they introduced 2 or 3 years ago the null safety, the sound null safety. That means you will not face any problem with a null pointer exception. So this is very nice. We don't have to worry about the null pointer exception in our code. So To use all the repository, all the package, you have a centralized repository, very easy to use. You can see like the README, the popularity, the creator of the package, and you can see all the information. You can go directly to the repository to see the source code. So this is very nice to have this ecosystem. Also, it's very nice to use these dependencies, and I'm going to show you how to use the Gemini dependency. Only you have to go to powerspec.yaml and you put there the name of your dependency, the version, and that's it. So you run a command and you get your dependency running on your project. So as a recap of what means to build Flutter apps, I will say that previously in every company or almost in every company, you have an Android developers team, iOS developer teams, web developer teams, and you are building the same product probably. But you have to face the problems of having different teams with different release date, with different code base, different bugs, different features that maybe the Android one they implemented, but the iOS team they didn't implement it yet. And you have to organize all the complexity of this to only build a product, to only build an experience. But with Flutter, you have Flutter developers. So the same developer is going to work in all the platform, and you are going to deliver the same experience across all the platform. So this is very, very nice because you can focus on build the best product as possible without worrying about the platform. So yeah, this is like my recap. Do more with less effort, focus on to build a nice product, and don't worry about the platform itself. But yeah, probably you are here because you want to learn more about AI, this buzzword, the Gemini, and everything about the AI in a Flutter app. So first of all, we need to meet our companion that is going to be Gemini. So probably most of you already know Gemini, but Gemini is the most advanced LLM by Google. This is very nice because it's like a state-of-the-art model, so it will perform very well. It's going to be multimodal. That means the AI can understand text, image, audio, and video, and also it can generate audio, text, image, and videos. We have different models and different sites, so we can choose in our case. So I usually have this slide when I prepare this kind of talks, showing the different models. So you can see we have the 2.5 Pro, 2.5 Flash, and 2.5 Flash Lite. Depends on the model. The Pro is more expensive, it's lower, but it will perform better than the Flash and the Flash Lite. But maybe, as you can see previously, this is obsolete because we have Gemini 3.0 or Gemini 3, they call it. So for Gemini 3, we will have yet at today's date, at 10th of December, we have Gemini 3 Pro. We don't have Gemini 3 Flash or Flash Lite. So we're going to use or Gemini 3 Pro or Gemini 2.5 Flash or Flash Lite. And how can I use it in my app? Because, okay, Flutter is very nice. I want to use Flutter. I want to create an AI app. So how can I use in my app? We have two different ways to use Gemini in our app. One is via Google AI Studio and Vertex AI. So the Google AI Studio, we are using an API key that it will be managed by Firebase that I will show you later. And this is very nice because we have a very nice free tier, but they don't recommend you to go to production using Google AI Studio. In the other side, we have the Vertex AI. That is a Google Cloud project. That means that you can escalate, you can configure builds, you can configure some rules, services, something that is in production level. They mentioned that if you want to go to production, use Vertex AI. But don't worry, because both of this solution, they are unified in one package. So you are going to use only one package to use both platforms to use Gemini in your app. The package is called Firebase AI. I think now they have for the 3.2 version or something like that. So yeah, you can go again to the pub.dev, find the package, and you can use directly in your Flutter app. So, okay, we have the package, we installed the dependency. So how can I use it? How can I integrate really Gemini in my Flutter app? The first thing is we're going to use a Firebase. So if we want to use a Firebase, we need to configure Firebase in our app. Previously, I remember when I started doing Flutter apps, it was a mess because you have to go to Firebase, you have to download some file, you have to configure the app, you have to copy some values, go to the Firebase dashboard, copy and paste, generate some credential, everything. Like it was like 1 or 2 hours spending time to configure this. But now we have a CLI called Flutterfire that it will help us to do this configuration. As I mentioned, it's an open source project, so you can go to the Flutterfire CLI repository and you can see how the CLI is made. It's made by Invertase, that is a nice company in the Flutter ecosystem. And how can I use it? First of all, we need to install the Firebase CLI, that is a separator from Flutterfire CLI. Firebase CLI is to log in with your account, to manage Firebase service, but with Flutterfire CLI, we're going to manage our Flutter project. So when we install the Firebase CLI and we log in with our Google account using Firebase login, we're going to install Flutterfire CLI. That is as simple as put this command .pub global activate Flutterfire CLI, and that's it. So you already have Flutterfire installed, so you can run Flutterfire configure inside your Flutter folder, and it's going to prompt you to configure the platform that you want to support. For example, imagine that you are building an Android app and you don't worry about the iOS or web. So you can say, oh, okay, so only configure the Android app, only download the Android files, and don't configure the app for iOS, web, or desktop. When you select the platform, you need to select the Firebase project because you can have different Firebase project in your Firebase profile or in your dashboard, and then the CLI, the tool itself is going to download all the files, is going to do all the configuration, is going to register all the certificates in Firebase for you, and it will download this file and it will download in the exact folder that the app will need to use Firebase. And that's it. Previously, as I mentioned, you have to do a lot of configuration. You have to go to the Firebase dashboard, download some keys, upload some certificates, some sign-in. Now, with this Flutterfire CLI, you can do directly with this command. You only have to create the Firebase project, and that's it. So this is very nice. And we're going to use this Firebase AI logic that I will say that is a very large name, but that's fine. So in your dashboard of Firebase, you only have to enable. You can see in the left part of the Firebase dashboard, Firebase AI logic. And as they mentioned, we are going to use this Firebase AI logic to use this Gemini API via Vertex AI, or we are going to use this Gemini Developer API via Google AI Studio with only the Firebase. So you only have to configure Firebase, and Firebase is going to use the both platform for you. And they are going to create a Google Cloud project. They are going to create an API key in the Firebase Studio, and you don't have to do anything. Also, this SDK is available in other platforms, but for us, we're going to focus on the Dart and Flutter. So let's go deep to the project directly, very quickly. So how can I use this Flutter or this Firebase AI Logic SDK directly in my Dart or Flutter code? It's only, or is as simple as 5 lines of code. As you can see, in the first line, we are initiating the model. So we are going to use Firebase AI. We're going to use Google AI. That is going to use the Google AI Studio. We initiate with the method generative model, and we pass which model we want to use. For example, in this case, we want to use the Gemini Flash. So we can put Gemini 2.5 Flash. If we want to use the Gemini 3, we can put the Gemini 3 Pro Preview, I think is the name. You can go directly to the docs and see the name. So you have the model. You only have to create a prompt. The prompt can be, as I mentioned, text, audio, video. So we can use content.text to say to the model, hey, this is a prompt with text. And with the method called generate content, we inject this prompt and we await the response. And that's it. Only with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines of code, you already have your app connected with the Gemini backend. That can be, in this case, Google AI Studio or Vertex AI, and you can use directly Gemini in your app. It's very, very easy to use and very easy to use to create AI apps, I would say. So what is the difference if I want to use Vertex AI? Something like that. I don't know if you saw the difference, but it's only in the Firebase dot Google AI or dot Vertex AI. So as you can see, the API is the same. So all the methods, configuration of the prompt, everything is the same as the both platform or the both providers. So it's very nice and very easy to change like that from production to development or vice versa. So imagine that for your internal testing, you have this Google AI, and when you build for a production, you only inject differently the model, and that's it. So you don't have to change anything. In the previously times, you have to use different package and you have to organize yourself. But now with only one package, you can choose which provider, and that's it. So as I mentioned, you can only you don't have to only use text prompts. You can use multimodal prompts. So it's the same that instead of content.text, you can use content.media, and that's it. You can inject different kind of prompts to your AI, and also the AI can generate different resources instead of only text. So this is very nice if you want to play around a little bit to generate some information and part of text. Now you know that you can do it. And then the packaging, it is not only about the generate content. We have the text generation one shot. That is, okay, this is the model, this is the prompt, and this is the generation. That's fine. We don't have any memory about the user. We don't have any interaction apart of one interaction. That's it. But also we have the methods to use like a chat. So the model will have a session with the user. So if the user give different prompts or more prompts than only one shot, the AI will have this memory. So you can have some context in the conversation directly with the same SDK. Also, you can inject this system instruction. Previously, in the beginning of the AI, in every prompt, you have to override some prompt with your instruction. So, for example, if you have like a support agent, you have to say, okay, you are a support agent. You have to do like that. You have to answer very polite, whatever. But now with the system instruction, you can inject only one time in the beginning of the conversation or in the beginning of the text generation, and the model will follow these rules in the whole interaction with the user. So this is very nice and very important to check. Also, we have the safety settings. So, for example, if you want to the model to block some words, or if you want to block some maybe delegated answer, you can block directly in the safety settings, and you don't have to worry about that. The SDK is going to handle for you. Also, in a Flutter apps that maybe you have already some HTTP client and you want to use the same one, you can inject your own HTTP client or your own implementation of the HTTP client, and or if you don't need it, you can use the default one. It's not important to inject a new HTTP client. And then we have the tools and the tools config that in this talk I will not go very deep. Later in my social media, I will share with you my Medium. I have an article about the tools, so take a look. But basically, with the AI, you can allow the AI to run some code or to request to run some code. So you can use the AI to do some action for you. In this case, the action is called tools. So you are going to give some code to the AI to be able to do some actions. So in this case, in the SDK directly, you can inject these tools and this tool config, and you can give superpowers to the AI using this tool that I will share later. As I mentioned, the Google AI provider is very nice because you have this free of charge request. I think they increase it a little bit, or more or less it stayed the same. But at least for your testing, for your when you are developing and you want to test how it's going with the model, you have like a very good tier, so you don't have to put any credit card details. Directly, you can use it without worrying about the pricing for the first call or for the testing calls. But when you go to production, I saw sometimes that the people is like, okay, we're going to do like an AI app, we're going to rock it. be careful because in production, the user can use the AI with other proposals. And you need to be very careful because the Google, in this case, is going to invoice you for the tokens usage. So when you go to production, keep in mind that this token usage is going to cost money to you. If you want to test the models in your app, or if you want to test without worrying about the free tiers, or if you don't want to worry about the money, you can go directly to Google AI Studio and you can there test all the model, test all the response, everything for free. You don't have to put any critical details. So I will say that if you want to implement some AI in your app, go first to the Google AI Studio, test the AI behavior, test the AI tokens, test the how much tokens or how much time it will take to generate some content, and then you can start implementing in your app. But you can go directly to the Google AI Studio and you can test it there without any problem. So if you want to learn more about how to use the Firebase AI logic beyond my explanation or my talk, you can go directly to this docs, that is firebase.google.com/docs/AI logic. And you can see more information about the SDK, because the SDK is not only this 5 line of code that is the minimal integration of AI in your app. Here in this documentation, you can see how to push more to the AI or how to use the AI in a better ways than only the generation of some content. So honestly, I recommend you to take a look because the documentation is very nice. They have a lot of information there. They have a lot of use case. They have a lot of examples where you can copy and paste the code. Maybe you find some ideas to implement in your app, saying what is capable of the SDK directly with this Firebase AI logic. So I want to remark this. Go to the documentation, see what the Gemini API SDK or the Firebase AI logic SDK is able to do, because it's amazing. As a programmer, I'm very happy to be able to do these kind of things without too much code because it's directly in the SDK. So as a recap, I will say that after creating a lot of AI apps or like some AI projects and giving this talk to a lot of people, I want to give you some tips if you want to implement your app to don't fall in this problem that I face it. So as I mentioned, this system instruction or pre-prompt that I call it is very important, because by default, the AI model will do whatever the user requested. So if you have a very limited use case or a very specific use case, I would recommend you to give the best instruction as possible to the model, and the model will try to follow this instruction better than, okay, this is the user gives you a prompt, and the AI is going to respond whatever, is going to answer whatever. So if you include a very large system settings instruction or pre-prompt instruction, the model will behave very well compared to without any instruction. So if you are going to implement in the Liquid Galaxy project, or if you are going to implement in your own project, take a look of this pre-prompt instruction. Try to define as much as possible. In the Google AI Studio, you can test it. You can inject this instruction and try to ask the model whatever question, and let's see if the instructions are good enough for this use case. Also, you can declare, and also you have this in the SDK, the structured output, in which format you want to have your response. Because, okay, an AI model generated text is very nice as a user, but you as a programmer, if you want to implement it in your app, you maybe needs more structured response to get some information, to display this information better than only text. So you can say to the model, okay, the people is going to ask you something, but you have to use this response structure to give me the response of the user, and I will show you the user in different ways. So this is very important if you want to, I will say, customize a little bit the response. Go and set this format in which kind of type of format you want the response. Also, if you're going to play with some different language, like, I don't know, some response different than JSON, you can say to the model, okay, this is the language specification, this is all the format that the language has. So if you want to use a very custom stuff, give to the model as much context as possible. And also, as I mentioned, really go to the Google AI Studio. Is the best platform to try these kind of things. So yeah, before to start implementing whatever idea you want in your app, go to the Google AI Studio, play with all the settings, see how much tokens needs to generate a response, and then, with everything is fine, go ahead and try to create your app. And as I mentioned, as a pro tip here, the tooling is very, very nice. If you go deep in this, I would say, world of AI agents with these tools, try check it, and you can use this tool in your SDK of Flutter, and you are going to be very surprised about what you can do with the tools and tooling in the your app or in your models. And I think that's it. I think we have some time for questions that probably we have in the chat, Andreu. Yeah, thank you so much again to spend some time with me today. I wish to see you soon. Thank you so much. This is my social network, so if you have any question, feel free to reach me.
Thank you very much, Alfredo. I hope some of the guys that were at the on YouTube and Discord, this has been an introduction for them. That is very nice. I'm also thinking about the use of Gemini because it's what it is. We have to do that now. And in the past 2 years, plenty of programs has incorporated the different Gemini, even Gemma running local.
Yes.
Let me give you a tip. This year we are going to have projects with Gemma running in local again. We did that 2 years ago, at the very beginning of Gemma. And so let's go for the questions. People are starting to put the questions, but let me read it.
Yeah.
Yes.
One thing before to go to the question, I forget to include in the slides that it was one question from Andreu a few months ago. Now they allow it to inject an API key from Google AI Studio. So if the people is going to create an app, you can leave the app without any Firebase configuration, and you can inject the API key, and you can use it. So it is very nice if you want to share your project without your API keys, you can inject it on the moment.
That's good. Also, yesterday's presentation from Victor was everything about do not do the stupid thing of inserting your case or whatever secrets in your code. So let's start. We have a few questions. Excuse me, guys, for my pronunciation of Indian names. Heswari. Can Gemini generate multimodal responses in a Flutter app, like interpreting images from the camera?
Yeah. Also, in my workshops, I usually give this example app where you can take a picture and the AI is going to describe for you.
Perfect. So Gemini is multimodal, I imagine, in all the platforms they support.
Yeah.
Vedansh, considering the current orgs code base, talking about the Liquid Galaxy, I've worked with React Native extensively. And this session had some great insights about Flutter. Vedansh, I'm gonna be the one answering at this. This session is for Flutter. We are happy that you are React Native professional, but we do not use React Native at the Liquid Galaxy project. We use exclusively Flutter and Dart. Okay, Neo with 3 O's. What about security of API keys in Flutter apps? Given that keys are included in the APK, can they be potentially extracted? Sometimes requesting a structured response, LLMs seems to return null values from source fields. And if you use the values in null variables in Dart, it seems to throw an error due to null safety. Is there a good way to deal with that?
I think
so
there's
2 questions.
2 questions, yeah. The first one is very good because probably you participated in the previous meeting yesterday, in the previous event, so the people is concerned about the API keys. As I mentioned, Firebase is going to handle from you, so you can inject it, but they say that only use this for testing purpose. If you set up your Firebase project, don't worry, because in your Flutter app, it will not be any API key. It's going to use the Firebase configuration, so you don't have to worry about. Even in the Firebase configuration, you can set up the app checker that is called app checker, I think. So the Firebase is going to check if your app is doing the calls. So it's going to verify the calls on the security side. Don't worry, if you go using the Firebase, it will be handled by you, all the configuration. So you don't have to worry about that. And the second one, can you repeat it?
1 second.
Yeah.
Yes, guys, that was true. I was mute on the Discord. I'm sorry. Just please, when there is a problem, give us feedback early just to repair this, okay? Because this is a little bit complicated to do both YouTube, everything. So I think now you are audible. Thank you, Vinayak. So the second question, I'm going to try to repeat. Sometimes requesting an structured response, LLMs seems to return null values for some fields. And if you set that values in non-null variables in Dart, it seems to throw an error due to null safety. Is there a good way to deal with that?
Very good question. Probably this is a question that someone that already played with the AI. The problem of AI is probabilistic, so you never know in which case the AI is going to respond as the way that you are expected. With these structured outputs, you are forcing more the AI to use these structured outputs and to put some value, but can be some case that the AI will not use this value or it will return as null if the AI thinks that the null is a good value. So even knowing that Dart and Flutter is null safety, you have to check every time the response of the model directly without going to the user, to the end user. So you programmatically, you have to check the response of the model. So you cannot trust 100% of the model that is going to
never
to answer in
the
perfect way. Yeah. So you have to check a little bit.
We are still in the infancy.
You can retry the request to the model.
Yeah. Vinayak says, I have integrated GPT API in one of my web projects, but I have wondered what could be the best way to use Gemini in my Flutter app to interact with the Liquid Galaxy rig? This is a general question. What's the best way?
Yeah, if you want to go and using Gemini to interact with the Liquid Galaxy server, take a look of the tools, because you can create a tool, call it, I don't know, turn on the Liquid Galaxy, sorry, I forget the name, the Liquid Galaxy server. Or if you want to rotate the camera or whatever action that you want to do, you can create the tools and you can say to the model, hey, you have this tool. If the response needs to use this tool, you are free to use it. And then the AI can use this tool to interact with the Liquid Galaxy. Nice. So as I mentioned, go to my Medium. There is a post about the AI tooling. And if you learn about that, you can use the tooling inside the SDK to interact with the Liquid Galaxy.
Super cool. Nice. Are there open source sample apps using Gemini plus Flutter for reference?
Yeah. In the documentation that I shared, they have a lot of code labs or cookbooks, they call it. And you can see different implementation. Even in the Flutter official documentation without the Firebase AI, you can see some example. Also in the Flutter YouTube channel, they have a lot of information about AI. So check it.
Remember, guys, that this streaming is being sent to YouTube as a streaming, so it will be after we end in a few minutes. It will be available for you to watch, go back and forth, copy the URL from Alfredo, whatever.
Yeah.
Since I am still a beginner in Flutter and app development, which Firebase service do you think I should learn first to build simple apps? I want to start with the basics before moving to advanced features. Flutter and Firebase.
Good question. I will say that the most typical one is the authenticator. So to use some login with your app, I will say Firestore to use a non-SQL database, and then this Firebase AI logic to use with AI. Not too much. Also, you have the analytics and Crashlytics to see information of your app. Also, you have the hosting if you want to host a web page that in our case is not very relevant. But
a good point, Alfredo, is that I'm pretty sure you know about this. What are the free tiers of the Firebase? They have plenty of free stuff to
yeah, perform. even with the authentication, I think all the authentication is free. if you send like a SMS, this is going to cost you money. But if you want to have like an
Nobody send
authentication
SMS
system,
now.
yeah, if you have an authentication system, it's going to be for free. In Firestore, I think you have like 5 gigabytes per day or something like that in and out bandwidth. Yeah, also
Yeah, they can check in the page, but Firebase has plenty of services that are free. It have a large free tier. And after that, you pay. But one question, guys, Abby, we can talk, but usually we don't allow cloud services like Firebase.
Because
this is a matter of that at some point, it happened in the past, students leave this open, and at some point, when you use Firebase, you need to add your credit card. And if the student fails, their credit card, and it happens in our credit card in the past, was charged by an enormous quantity of money that is not going to happen again with any online service. So we usually do that locally. The database is usually running on the
device.
On the device, or if we have Docker instance because the project is more complicated, you can install there whatever kind of local database. No, we are not going to use paid services unless the APIs for artificial intelligence that's needed. But again, we prefer to use local ones. Gemini, I don't know how much free tier. Do you remember, Alfredo, how much free tier there are for Gemini?
I think I share it, but it's like 1,000 requests per day or something like that. 1,500. Yeah, that's a lot. For testing, it's a lot.
It's a
you
lot,
will
exactly.
not. Yeah, and even as I mentioned, go to Google AI Studio if you want to test it. Only test in your project their implementation, but if you want to test prom and these kind of things, go to Google AI Studio.
Nice. Deepend has a very deep question. Deep question. What are some overlooked capabilities of Gemini that Flutter developers usually miss but can be game changers? So give us a tip of something specific for Gemini that can be used with Flutter a lot.
I will say the tools. This is amazing. I give a lot of talks about AI agents. That is like the next chapter in AI. So when you have tools in your app that the AI can use it, as we mentioned, for example, the Leaky Galaxy, imagine that you are going to say to the model, hey, I want to learn about this historic stuff. And the AI is going to say, okay, I'm going to generate a story. I'm going to move the Leaky Galaxy. I'm going to display some information in the Leaky Galaxy. I'm going to move the camera, whatever. And also I will create some audio. I will use tool for, I don't know, create a document, whatever. So if you have a lot of tools and good tools and the AI can use it, it will generate a very nice experience for you.
Yeah. Also, the point you give to the audience about the pre-prompting the system.
The system instruction.
That's very important because it's talking about the Liquid Galaxy. It's perfect that you have a regular prompt saying that you want this way, and add this to every prompt you do.
Yeah.
Because answers will be better.
Yeah.
The last question for now is Neo. I'm curious about your use of Flutter or embedded device. What kind of hardware and OSs it runs, and did you grow your custom embedder? Did you grow something for IoT?
Yeah, I don't know what I can at which level I can talk about this because it's my company.
It's your company, and your last company was also talking about hardware integration with Flutter.
Yeah.
So just make it the public.
A little bit. I will say that we use a Linux instance that is this publicly. So we use an Ubuntu Core. That is the platform where is running the app, and this in a PCB that is made in China, and that's it. So we have to configure a little bit the framework, not too much to be honest. We don't have to create a specific runner for that, but yeah, sometimes we need to do some custom things up to the framework level to be able to do some things, specific things in the embedded device. But I can say that out of the box, Flutter is very good.
Yeah, that's the point about Flutter is multi-platform from the start.
Yeah.
Jack, and this is going to be the last question, Alfredo, regarding the tool or a tooling Alfredo mentioned. Is there anything built in that I can use?
The SDK gives you like how to create the tools, and it's very straightforward. So directly in the documentation of the SDK, that I didn't have time to show it, but you can see how to create a tool, how to pass the tool to the model and how to
Okay, maybe
configure it.
Banjak says about if there is something already on the, done.
I think in some
pre-done.
examples you can see some configuration. I think in my repo I have like some tools in some Flutter projects, so you can go and check it. But it's very straightforward to create the tools, and we don't have too much tools pre-made. There's something about the MCP, but it's out of this talk. But in Flutter depends on your use case. So probably you are going to create your own tools for your use case and your
That's very
Flutter.
important. As you say,
Yeah.
you can create your own tools for the standard Liquid Galaxy things and then call it continuously.
Yeah.
Perfect. So thank you for the people that stayed at the live Discord and also to the ones on the YouTube. Thank you for making questions. Speakers like Alfredo like a lot that people interact. Still, there are some. Thank you for Benayak for making the question. Thank you, Daipen. This week has been great, Alfredo. Hopefully, in no time, we are gonna
A few days.
the accelerator and Christmas will happen in no time.
Yeah.
And then we will be starting the next year doing the projects and so on and using lots of Dart and Flutter.
Yeah.
So thank you, Alfredo, for coming again.
Thank you so much.
Hope to see you soon.
Yeah.
Really, we can say we're going to see us in 5
Few days.
days because you're coming to Lleida. Alfredo is coming to Lleida. We have DevFest Lleida, the biggest event we do at Google Developers Lleida in the year, DevFest, in next Tuesday 16. Alfredo's coming, and we'll be training hundreds of students live on a stage in Flutter. Thank you, Alfredo. See you. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much. See you. Bye-bye.
To a world you can see through panoramic screens, living in the grand spatial dream. Visualize just what we mean. Innovation shaping our fate. Together we celebrate. From data to display, community lights the way. Liquid Galaxy.